Hey everybody, welcome to another deep dive, and this time
Yeah,
it's all about Chinese dinosaurs.
you got it.
This is a deep dive that a lot of listeners have been requesting for quite a while.
Yeah, they have.
So,
For good reason.
yeah, for good reason. Um, we are going to be looking at adaptations.
That's right.
And
That's kind of our theme here is
yeah,
looking at dinosaurs.
yeah,
That's
and China in particular is,
yeah.
I mean, just an incredible place to.
An embarrassment of riches.
It is, and
Yeah.
and it's like the most
Yeah.
diverse collection of dinosaur species anywhere in the world.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's really something.
And we're going to look at some really fun adaptations.
Oh, yeah.
We've got like the biggest bird-headed dinosaur,
Right.
a dinosaur with feathers, but also the size of a bus,
Right.
a Chinese-style face.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We're gonna be looking at all of that.
Definitely.
Um,
Should we just jump in?
yeah, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Let's start with kind of I guess you could say like the granddaddy
Yeah.
of Chinese dinosaur discoveries, Lufengosaurus.
That's right. Lufengosaurus. It's a classic.
So tell me about this guy.
Oh, it's a great one. Discovered all the way back in 1938.
Okay.
And really kind of started a
Okay.
national fascination with dinosaurs in China.
Oh, cool.
It's a really cool early Jurassic herbivore.
Okay.
Kind of long neck, long tail.
Okay.
So
Again.
if you want to picture it in your head, you can kind of think of like a
Okay.
giraffe crossed with a lizard or something like that.
Okay, so why the long neck?
Yeah, why the long neck? Well, I think about like giraffes today.
Right?
They use their long necks to reach up high into the trees
Right.
to get vegetation that other animals can't get to.
Right.
Lufengosaurus was probably doing the same thing.
Okay.
It could reach up high.
It's like a browsing machine.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Prehistoric browsing machine.
It's awesome.
And it had the ability to walk on 2 legs or 4 legs.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind
Is
of...
that a common thing amongst dinosaurs, or is that pretty...
Not all dinosaurs could do that.
Okay.
So that was something that, might have been particularly helpful
Right.
for Lufengosaurus getting around.
Okay.
2 legs for speed.
Right.
4 legs for stability, that kind of.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to one that I think sounds like it came out of a fairy tale.
Okay.
Cintasaurus?
Yes. Cintasaur.
The gentle unicorn.
The gentle unicorn.
This is a good one.
It is a good one, and this is a great example of how
Okay.
our understanding of dinosaurs is always evolving.
Okay.
Because you see, Cintasaurus
Yeah.
was originally reconstructed
Right.
with a single horn.
Yeah.
Like a unicorn.
Okay, yeah, so I can see why it got that nickname.
Right out of its forehead.
Yeah.
But
But there's more to the story.
there is more to the story.
Okay.
Turns out that horn.
Was actually the back edge of a much larger and more complex crest.
Okay.
And so...
So like less like a unicorn and more like a...
Yeah, more like maybe like a
Okay.
cassowary.
A cassowary?
Those birds with the big crests on their heads?
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so more like that.
So what was the purpose of a crest like that?
Yeah, well, we can never know for sure.
Right.
But crests like that are often used for display,
Okay.
for, communication,
Right.
for species recognition.
Okay.
Maybe they were signaling each other across long distances, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, from the gentle unicorn,
Right.
let's move on to, I think, something that's on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Shantungosaurus, the biggest bird-headed dinosaur.
The biggest bird-headed dinosaur.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Love that.
And it really earns that name.
Okay.
This thing was massive. It was a hadrosaur, those duck-billed dinosaurs.
Okay.
The biggest one that we know of.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking like longer than a school bus.
Okay. A school bus-sized dinosaur.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble even picturing that.
It's hard to even fathom, right?
Yeah, like how did a thing that big even move?
Right. Well, it had incredibly powerful legs
Okay.
and a big, massive tail that acted as a counterbalance.
Right.
So it could support all that weight.
Okay.
And it was probably pretty agile.
Okay.
Despite its size.
Interesting.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get in its way.
Yeah, you'd want to get out of its way if it was coming at you.
Right.
But was there anything else like remarkable about it?
Yeah, I mean, its skull was really interesting.
Okay.
It was big, but it was also really lightweight. It
Yeah.
had all these openings and air spaces in it.
Okay.
And that duck-billed mouth that you mentioned,
Right.
it had rows and rows of tiny teeth.
Okay.
Thousands of teeth.
Wow.
Just for grinding up plant material.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So just a constant eating machine.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool dinosaur.
Um, okay, so we're going from a gentle giant
Okay.
to something that sounds a little more ferocious.
Yeah. Yangchuanosaurus.
Yangchuanosaurus.
The Jurassic King.
The Jurassic King.
So,
This one was a big predator.
okay.
Probably one of the top predators in its environment.
Okay.
We're talking kind of similar in size and build to Tyrannosaurus rex,
Okay.
but with a slightly more slender snout,
Okay.
and really powerful jaws
Okay.
lined with razor-sharp teeth.
Wow, that sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to run into this thing
No,
in the Jurassic.
definitely not.
Um,
So what did this thing eat?
well, I mean, it was a meat eater, so it was eating
Right.
other dinosaurs.
Right, so like what,
Go,
big dinosaurs or small dinosaurs?
Yeah, probably targeting, large herbivores.
Okay.
Like maybe even Cintasaurus,
Wow.
the one we were just talking about.
Yeah. It's possible that Yangchuanosaurus was preying on Cintasaurus.
Wow, so we're really talking about a clash of the titans.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Big battles going on.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to one that sounds like it was ready for battle.
Okay.
Yangchuanosaurus, the earliest swordsman.
Ah, yes, Yangchuanosaurus.
Okay.
This is an early stegosaur.
Okay.
And it had all these cool defenses.
Okay.
It had, plates along its back,
Okay.
spikes on its shoulders, and its tail.
Okay.
Really well protected.
So what was like the function of those plates?
Yeah, well, the plates probably acted as kind of passive armor,
Okay.
making it difficult for predators to get a good bite.
Okay.
But the spikes were probably more for active defense.
Okay.
They could swing that tail around
Right.
and really inflict some damage.
Wow, so it's like a spiked mace.
Yeah, it's like a prehistoric spiked mace.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And you said this is an early stegosaur.
that's right.
One of the earliest?
So does that mean that, it can kind of help us understand
Absolutely.
how those plates and spikes evolved?
Yeah, it gives us a glimpse into, the early evolution of that group.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to one that sounds like it came out of a Japanese superhero movie.
Okay.
Jehol
Dinosaurus,
the Ultraman dinosaur.
the Ultraman dinosaur.
I love these names.
Yeah, they're great.
So this one sounds cool. What's the deal with this one?
Yeah, so this dinosaur had this single vertical crest
Okay.
on its head.
Okay.
Kind of reminded some people of the helmet of Ultraman,
Yeah, that's a good one.
which is a Japanese superhero.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so
So what was the purpose of the crest?
well, that's a good question.
Okay.
But
Was it just for looks or was it?
no paleontologists debate about that.
Okay.
Some people think it was for display.
Okay.
Some people think it might have been used for communication,
Okay.
maybe even species recognition.
Yeah, so we're not totally sure.
So a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah, a little bit of a mystery, but that's part of what makes it fun.
I love that. I love the mysteries.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to one that I think really revolutionized how we think about dinosaurs.
Okay.
Sinosauropteryx, the first feathered dinosaur.
Ah, yes, Sinosauropteryx.
So I'm guessing the feathers on a dinosaur are kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
This was discovered in 1996,
Okay.
and it really sent shockwaves through the world of paleontology.
Wow.
Because here we had a small theropod dinosaur,
Okay.
one of those meat-eating dinosaurs
Yeah.
covered in these feather-like structures.
Wow.
And so it provided really undeniable proof
Right.
that feathers weren't just for birds.
So are we talking that birds are descended from dinosaurs?
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Sinosauropteryx really kind of solidified that link.
Okay. So that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is truly remarkable.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what else is out there
Right.
that we just haven't discovered yet?
Absolutely. I mean, paleontology is a field that's always
Right?
making new discoveries
Yeah,
and, changing how we think about the past.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Oh,
who knows what we'll find next?
exactly.
Yeah.
This
So-
is the exciting part.
It is really exciting.
Yeah.
So we were talking about feathered dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
And,
That's right.
we left off on Sinosauropteryx,
Right.
which is just mind-blowing.
It is.
And, it's crazy to think about, those birds that we see flying around today.
Right.
Like they evolved from dinosaurs.
I know, it's hard to believe.
It really is. But,
It's true, though.
yeah, so speaking of feathered dinosaurs,
Yes.
let's move on to one that sounds even more fantastical.
Okay.
Anchiornis, the four-winged dinosaur.
That's right. Anchiornis, the four-winged dinosaur.
Okay, so I'm picturing something out of like a fantasy novel.
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with this one?
Yeah, so this is a dinosaur that had long feathers,
Okay.
not just on its arms, but also on its legs.
Okay, so it really had 4 wings.
Yeah, it really had 4 wings.
Wow.
And so it kind of raises the question, did it actually fly?
Yeah. Could this thing fly?
Well, paleontologists have debated that for a long time.
Okay.
Some people think that it might have been able to glide,
Okay.
using those feathers to kind of help it stay aloft.
Okay.
Other people think that maybe it was more of a runner
Okay.
and that those leg feathers were used for something else.
Like maybe for attracting a mate or something?
Yeah, maybe for display or maybe even for stability while it was running,
Interesting.
So we're not totally sure.
Okay, so another mystery.
Another mystery, yeah.
I love that.
But that's part of what makes paleontology so fun.
Yeah, I agree.
There's always something new to discover.
Okay, so from a 4-winged dinosaur,
Yeah.
let's move on to one that sounds like it could have held its own against anything.
Okay.
Sinornithosaurus, the national horn.
Ah, yes, Sinoceratops.
So what is so special about this one?
Yeah, well, Sinoceratops is a ceratopsian dinosaur,
Okay.
kind of like Triceratops.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But this one has only been found in China.
Okay, so like China's version of Triceratops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really unique dinosaur.
Very cool. And
it's actually appeared in a Hollywood movie.
really?
Yeah, Sinoceratops was in Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an ambassador.
Yeah, kind of an ambassador for Chinese dinosaurs.
Yeah.
To the world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what made this one so special?
Yeah, well, it had this really unique frill
Okay.
with all these forward curving horns on it.
Wow.
And so it really had a very distinctive look.
Okay.
And those horns probably served a variety of purposes.
Okay.
Maybe for defense against predators,
Okay.
maybe for display to attract mates.
Right. That kind of thing.
That's really cool. Okay. Let's move on to one that sounds like it was the ruler of a pretty amazing place.
Okay.
Yutyrannus, king of the Jehol Biota.
Oh, yes. Yutyrannus.
So tell me about this guy.
Yeah, Yutyrannus is a tyrannosaur.
Okay.
But it's a tyrannosaur with a twist.
Okay.
It was covered in feathers.
Okay, wait, a feathered tyrannosaur?
Yeah. Feathered tyrannosaur.
I'm having trouble picturing that.
I know. It's kind of hard to imagine.
Yeah, because, I think of T-Rex.
Right.
And, it doesn't have feathers.
Right. Yeah.
you know?
We usually think of tyrannosaurs as being,
Yeah.
scaly and reptilian.
Right.
But Yutyrannus shows us that they weren't all like that.
Wow, so like a fuzzy T-Rex.
Yeah, kind of like a fuzzy T-Rex.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, and these feathers were probably used for insulation.
Okay.
Because the climate where Yutyrannus lived
Right.
was actually relatively cool
Oh, okay.
for the early Cretaceous.
So they needed to stay warm.
Yeah, they need to stay warm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this Jehol Biota a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what made this place?
Yeah, so the Jehol Biota is this
Yeah.
amazing fossil site
Okay.
in China.
Okay.
And it's from the early Cretaceous period.
Yeah.
And it preserves just a wealth of incredible fossils. We're
Yeah.
talking feathered dinosaurs, primitive birds, early mammals, insects, plants,
Wow.
all sorts of amazing stuff.
So like a snapshot of a lost world.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
A snapshot of a lost world.
That's amazing.
Oh,
And you said Yutyrannus was like the king.
that's right. The king of the Jehol Biota.
So yeah,
it was
like
probably
top of the food chain.
top of the food chain. Yeah.
Okay.
Apex predator.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm ready for this ultimate example of feathered dinosaur evolution.
Okay, well, get ready to meet Epidexipteryx,
Epidexipteryx.
which means display feather.
Display feather. Okay, so I'm already intrigued.
This little dinosaur had incredibly long tail feathers.
Okay, so longer than even like Anchiornis or Microraptor?
Longer than anything we've seen before.
Wow. So what were they for?
Well, probably for display,
Okay.
maybe to attract mates or intimidate rivals.
So like a dinosaur peacock?
Yeah, kind of like a dinosaur peacock.
That's amazing.
Strutting its stuff.
Yeah.
With these long tail feathers.
Very cool. And you said this was a bizarre little dinosaur.
Yeah, well, unlike a lot of feathered dinosaurs,
Okay.
Epidexipteryx seems to have lacked contour feathers,
Okay.
which are the kind of feathers that give birds their smooth aerodynamic shape.
Okay.
So it's kind of a reminder that feather evolution was complex.
Right.
Different lineages experimenting with different types of feathers for
Okay.
different purposes.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so from feathered fashionistas, To what?
Let's talk about a dinosaur that was built for speed.
Okay.
Zixionicus.
Zixionicus.
One of the smallest dinosaurs ever discovered in China.
Okay, so smaller than Microraptor.
And smaller, yeah.
Wow. So what does this little guy eat?
Well, it was probably an insectivore.
Okay.
So it was eating insects.
So zipping around catching bugs.
Yeah, exactly. Zipping around.
Very cool.
Using its long legs,
Yeah.
slender body to chase down its prey.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about a dinosaur that I think was really a sight to behold.
Okay.
Mamenchisaurus?
Ah, yes, Mamenchisaurus.
So this one had a neck that was longer than a school bus.
That's right, longer than a school bus.
Wow, I thought that was Shantungosaurus' territory.
Well, Mamenchisaurus gives Shantungosaurus a run for its money.
Okay, so what was the purpose of a neck that long?
Well, Mamenchisaurus was a sauropod.
Okay.
You know those dinosaurs with the long necks, long tails, massive size?
Right.
And that neck would allow it to reach vegetation?
Okay.
That was way up high.
So like the top of the trees?
Yeah, the top of the trees.
Wow, that's incredible.
No other animal could reach that high.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive here.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm pretty overwhelmed
Yeah.
with all the incredible adaptations.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, and it really makes you appreciate
Yeah.
the vastness of geologic time,
Yeah.
And the incredible diversity of life
Right.
that has existed on our planet.
It's really incredible.
Yeah.
Well, any final thoughts?
Well, I think it's important to remember that
Right.
we're part of the story too.
Right.
This story of life on Earth.
That's amazing.
It's a story that's been unfolding for billions of years.
Yeah.
And we're just a small part of it.
That's incredible. Oh, I think that's a perfect place to leave it.
Yeah, I think so too.
So keep exploring, keep learning,
That's right.
and who knows what incredible discoveries you might make along the way.
You got it.
Until next time, happy fossil hunting.